Pasadena City College was originally founded in the optimism and exuberance of the Roaring Twenties, when an American century had dawned. In 1929, only a few moments after President Harbison, our longest-serving president, wrote the words on the frontispiece of my message today, the great crash came and the nation was plunged into depression. 3 years later, the great earthquake came and destroyed all of the buildings on campus, and the campus was intense for 3 years. A few years later, World War came. Our forebears at PCC never gave up. They brought the college through these crises and many more, and we will do the same. And we will keep faith with those who came before us and preserve for all of us in this room today the privilege, and it is a privilege, to serve this college and work for PCC. Our service, though, comes to PCC comes at a time when our great college is at a crossroads. We can choose to continue to be buffeted by circumstance and economic crisis, or we can set the college on a new path for the 21st century. The choices we make together for the next decade will determine PCC's future in what is now clearly a global century. Our most urgent task is to, in effect, refound the college, and we must do it not during boom times, but at a moment when confidence has waned, growth is not assured, and the American century has ended and a global century has dawned. But make no mistake, the state of our college is sound and stable. We therefore have time to face our challenges squarely and solve them fully. We do have some time, but we don't have much time. PCC is relatively healthy, but we exist within a larger context in which sustainable funding for free public higher education in California is unquestionably in decline. I'm pretty good at pep talks and cheerleading, but servant leadership also requires facing up to the facts. And the fact is that our state support is not just shrinking, but in my professional view, gone for good. In my judgment, we are not in a budget cycle in which we can expect our budget to be restored or come back. This is because the state's revenue model for public K-14 education, Prop 98, has been junked. The college has owed millions of dollars under Prop 98 that if we had them today, we'd be serving our students at the level of excellence. And the chances that those dollars will ever get paid back to us are slim. And along with Prop 98 being junked, remember that, the California Master Plan for Education, that's been junked too. And my colleague, Tony Fellow, who serves in the California State University, is aware of how the seats are being constricted. When all of us came up through the system, when everything was open and almost free. Like newspapers, journalism, bookstores, Borders, the music recording industry, remember CDs, and most recently, this morning in today's paper, the United States Postal Service, we have lost our revenue model. And we are still operating as if the old revenue model will return and sustain us. Much of the education we are now offering our students is being given away free by Stanford and MIT and many other 21st century providers. There is no natural law that will protect public community colleges in California from further shrinkage. PCC itself is about 10% smaller than it was 5 years ago, despite unprecedented student demand. I am not, however, predicting gloom or doom. There is hope in facing up to these facts squarely and in concerted action together. PCC's future, we must choose it now, must not be to shrink to fit, must not be to shrink to fit public funding, must not. But must be, our choice must be to grow to meet student demand. Notwithstanding the rapid state funding, I believe that PCC's future is brighter than ever before. If we can use the time our college's relatively sound condition does buy us as an opportunity to reconnect to the two prevailing ideas of our college's history: social justice and innovation. A community college is at its core an institution for social justice. And when PCC was founded, the community college itself was an innovation, something that was hardly imaginable in 1924. Our task today is nothing less than to construct a new and improved argument for the importance of free public higher education. A stronger and more effective argument rests not on rhetoric, but on our actions in the service of our community. We must prove our value to our community by our deeds, not our words. We must offer demonstrations, not mere orations, of our own deep understanding of social justice, and as a continuing experiment, a journey of discovery through innovation. There is not the slightest doubt in my mind that we will continue our tradition of excellence through innovation. For proof, we need not look any farther than what we have accomplished together in the past mere 15 months. This partial list of our accomplishments in the past year is a truly auspicious beginning that advanced PCC toward a leading role as a truly global community college. We removed the college from accreditation warning and reaffirmed our accreditation with the ACCJC. We developed and approved our educational master plan. The Academic Senate approved a new distance education policy, and we fully funded faculty training in distance ed and the migration to Blackboard 9.1. The Academic Senate approved 4 new SB 1440 degrees, which we're moving forward with, and I'm grateful to the Senate for that. We have initiated the college commitment with PUSD and CSULA that guarantees to students in our district a 2+2+2 pathway to the bachelor's degree. We have improved the PCC PUSD alignment in English and math. More students than ever came here this semester ready for college-level English and math, thanks to the work of our people in English and math. We expanded our support for cohort-based programs so that incoming district students are guaranteed the classes they need to make progress. Last year at this time, we had 308 incoming 12th graders from PUSD. This year, we had 868, okay? And every single one of them got an English and a math class. We signed a new contract agreement with the PCCFA featuring the SERP incentive, expanded funds for faculty training, and enhanced adjunct office hours. We signed a new contract with Issue that commits the college to a joint process this year to reclassify and upgrade the entire classified staff. We hired and welcomed 21 new tenure-track faculty this fall. Could I ask, am I going to out you guys, if the new faculty, if you could rise and we could just welcome you with a round of applause. We established the Student Access and Success Initiative Innovation Fund of $1 million, thanks to the Board of Trustees, that enabled many faculty design projects. That could be a whole list all by itself, okay? And it's just wonderful work. We won 4 major sustainability awards that continues the college on its absolute commitment to the President's Global Climate Initiative, that commits the college to have a carbon neutral footprint by the year 2020, and we'll make it before then. And my thanks to the students for the work that they did on ITAP. And our ITAP program, the bus passes for students, has just been rocketing in popularity. I'm not done. We began construction, walk by the new Center for the Arts. The 3rd floor is in steel. It's on schedule for a late fall 2012 opening. It's in a year from now. That thing will be open. We stepped up our external grants. You heard the HSI STEM grant, resulting in a current total, okay, external grants to the college, $17 million. Okay, that's what we bring in from the outside. My thanks to, where's Nancy? Nancy, there you are. She writes most of those. So now you know who really has the money around here, or who really gets money. This past year, we received over $5 million in private donations, one of the best fundraising years the college ever had. Most primarily bequests to fund increased scholarships. We are getting near the point when we will be able to ensure every single human being in our district that if you need to go to college and you don't have the means, we can take care of it for you. The help of faculty, staff, and managers in constructing a college-wide consultation process to study this goal of realignment and develop a recommendation this year. I am going to take this advice right now. Plain and simple, we need to align the administrative structure of the college with our college mission of student learning and success, the primary measure of which is the number of students we graduate. There are 4 major reasons to pursue this realignment in order of importance. Number 1, we must, in reverse order of importance, forgive me, we must put the shared back into shared governance by returning to the faculty the responsibility and the resources to manage our academic programs for the good of our students. This would mean considering returning to faculty department chairs elected by their own departments. Our Board of Trustees recently received a report that the faculty chair model is the normal and prevalent one in the state community college system, and that those colleges like PCC without faculty chairs report significant problems with communication, faculty participation, and student success. Now you'll see later on the Twitter feed, one of the Twitter community, in my Twitter community, their sign-in is BT918. So whoever BT918 is, I want to thank him or her for sharing a recent article that's in the LA Times that stated the problem clearly. And when you go to the Twitter account, you can read the whole article yourself. It's as clear a statement as it could possibly be of what my approach to moving forward and shared governance is. But the subheading of that article is, the problem with schools is not teachers, but a management system that pushes teachers aside. All of the intelligence, all of the wisdom, all of the soul of a college rests with its faculty, and we must create a new administrative system with faculty at the very heart of it. Now, the moment that I say that, I mean no disrespect to myself or to any of my colleagues who serve as managers or staff members, okay? When we went to South Pasadena last week, and we had members from the community say, "You're a really great college. Oh, but by the way, one of the men's restrooms is kind of dirty." Rick Van Pelt and I said, "We'll go get a mop," okay? Our job is to do whatever it is we need to do to serve this college, okay? And of course, we need the wisdom of all staff and the heart and soul of all staff. But part of our difficulty is that we need to make sure that faculty are at the center, not at the periphery, of determining what the academic program will be and managing it. I want to be clear on this, okay? Read the article, because whatever the article says, that's what I believe in. I'm not a fan of Michelle Rhee. I'm not a fan of Bill Gates. I'm not a fan of any of these cockamamie reform movements. They're not going to work for one fundamental miss, all right? And that is the people who are the teachers need to be primarily responsible for running a school. It's as simple as that. In that article, it said General Motors went down not because the line workers all of a sudden didn't know what they were doing. It was management's problem. And now it's our problem together to try and improve on. This implies no criticism of anyone, but I do need to speak straight today. Number 2, we must take down the administrative silos and stovepipes, and you know what I'm talking about, that create artificial boundaries between ideas and are getting in the way of faculty collaboration and innovation. In a truly global community college, all boundaries must be questioned, All borders must be crossed, especially those that divide academic disciplines and intellectual free trade. Faculty collaborations and innovation is all the more important in an environment in which external grant funding is indeed available, but only for innovative ideas that are cross-disciplinary. Okay, Nancy can tell you, you come in one little department, there's not much money for that, okay? It's more holistic, it's more global, it's more integrated. Number 3, in the current state funding environment, we must look at the cost effectiveness of every non-classroom service we provide. With classroom instruction as our #1 priority, we must examine every other service we provide and ask the question, what is the most cost-effective way to deliver this service at a high-quality level? This may take some investments. This may actually take some spending of money, which is we're prepared to do with the technology upgrade to move out our current legacy system and move in a new modern system. And 4th, but most importantly, we must align our administrative structure for the sake of our students and to advance their goals to transfer or get a job. I have this photo in my office, that photo back there. I think Tim Baruth is here, and he took the photo. I didn't know he was going to take it, all right? And that hangs in my office, and it shows our graduates from the last commencement day, graduation day on Robinson Field. I keep it as a reminder of my own goal for PCC, to grow this college and fill up that football field with graduates, okay? And we got a few yards to go there. But it's a visual for me to show that what our real goal is. It is time for us, we talk about a student-centered college, and we have that in our heart, but it is time for us to study how a faculty-centered academic management can lead to a truly student-centered college. Okay. Next steps. At this point, I do want to thank each one of our current instructional deans and managers. Each one of them, I've done their work. I've been a dean. I've been a vice president of academic affairs. Each one of them is an able administrator and a tireless advocate for student success. I assure them in public today, as I already have in private, that no matter what realignment we propose, that not one of them will, of course, lose their job, their title, or their salary. Just not going to happen on my watch. These good colleagues, our managers, are not, repeat, not part of the problem. But these very good people will be part of the solution, and I do thank them for their leadership. And we should thank all of the deans and managers right now. So what would a realigned PCC look like? I don't know. I have some ideas, but I'm not sure. I do not have a specific proposal today other than to say that there are several prevalent models used by other very successful community colleges in the state of California. One of these models is in our own college catalog that calls for 4 instructional divisions. Perhaps this is the model we end up with, perhaps not. But this is where I need to ask for your help in engineering first a college-wide process to study the goal of realignment and develop a recommendation. As this is the College Council, okay, I will ask the College Council's existing Planning and Priorities Committee to take charge of engineering this process. We need a process for the process, okay? We have our educational master plan. We've got it. It's up on the website. We have our board goals. We have those. They've been adopted. Now our task is to do the planning that will lead to the achievement of these objectives. The Planning and Priorities Committee is chaired by Vice President Miller and President Ed Martinez of the Academic Senate and comprises 18 members of faculty, staff, managers, and students. I will ask the Planning and Priorities Committee to convene quite soon and get right to work on forming an all-college consultation process with a timeline. This committee should be inclusive of anyone in this room and anyone in our college community who wishes to participate, and it will have the support and the resources to do its job. In addition, all next week, the managers and I will be working together directly and extensively to develop models and options for the Planning Committee's review and consideration. Let me talk for a moment about budget. You'll note today that I have said precious little about budget and cutting expenses. We've cut a lot of them, as you know, and we have a lot of vacant positions, as you know. But I haven't talked a lot about budget today because I do not see this as our main problem, as I've already suggested. A real problem is one that money alone can't solve. Our primary effort must be to relight our imaginations and create a culture of innovation in which the only answer is yes and. Now, those of you in theater, teach acting and so on, and know the Chicago improv, the first thing they teach you in improv, okay, is that whatever you're working with when you're on stage, the response to your fellow actor is yes and. Because the moment you say yes but, okay, you've negated everything, you've shut it down. You've shut down improvisation, you've shut down creativity. So we need to shift to a yes and culture. And doing that, I know, look at what we've done in the past year. I know that we will secure the resources to do the job. The problem is not money. The problem, not problem, but our challenge is the plan. What do we want to do? And let's go after it. We're all just going to go home tonight to our families and do the best we can for our families and do the best we can for our students. Let this year, our college's 87th academic year, be the one that is recorded in a future history of Pasadena City College as the turning point in our development as a global community college in the public interest. Thanks. SASE, Student Access and Success Initiative. It was an initiative that we started at the beginning of the year in order to drive the mission of student success, which is central to the college. You may now signify that you are a graduate of Pasadena City College by moving your tassel from the right to the left. So I worked with the board and we created this pool of $1 million, which is a real firm commitment of resources.
The reasons we were losing students from design classes and technical classes was not because of the subject matter. Most of the students are actually really excited about technology and design. The problem was dealing with the fundamental issues of literacy and numeracy. The whole point of the educational master plan was to define student success by the achievement of a dream, a specific outcome of either transfer, the award of associate degree, the award of a workforce certificate that would lead to a decent wage job outcome. Probably most important is the closing of the achievement gap for minority students, especially minority students who are coming in and having to take basic skills English, basic skills math.
Leg was cured by Corona, right? But what would be more direct? I heard heal, right? Recover. Good.
I actually got together with a group from the Institutional Effectiveness Committee, and we talked about the opportunity. We talked about previous attempts we had made with funding of Partnership for Excellence and the ARC funds that we had, and we decided that we wanted to do something different from what we had done. We wanted to make sure that there was accountability. We wanted to make sure that there was transparency. We wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity. To have innovation, to be able to advance the college, to have a culture of innovation, you really have to give everyone the opportunity to think out loud and to be told yes.
Lecture capture is a way of using technology so that in the classroom environment, faculty can record the lecture live as they are doing it. It's not only capturing what the faculty member is teaching, it's also capturing anything that is on a computer, a tablet, a smart board, so that later, if students need to review the materials that were covered in class, they can go back and actually review not only the lecture, but the materials that were being presented.
And how is that greatness changing over time?
Because the materials are closed captioned, they are accessible.
We wanted folks to make sure that it was an innovation award.
I wanted to go curvy.
We were looking for folks who were doing things a little bit out of the box. We chose finally 5 innovation awards. And then later we got to the mini grants. And there were also quite a few of those, and we chose 14 of those.
Anybody dealing with this concept of designing, problem solving, and that context is what this design pathway is geared for. Because it's basic skills, it's addressing Math 402, English 100 developmental skills, and making sure they're integrated within the fundamentals of technology used in design. Students will be able to use equipment that is pretty much state-of-the-art, with laser cutting, where essentially using lasers to cut 2D forms to build artifacts or concepts of designs, model homes, model products, model interiors, even clothing. You can actually put fabric and cut the fabric and actually come up with a new article of clothing.
A lot of pressure. Is it? Yeah. Because it's fairly automated, so once I let it go, there's a mistake, I probably won't find it until later, where the whole piece of stock is scrapped. And then after, the mistake happens later on, this whole program might take 1 or 2 hours, so if it happens at the latter part, then the whole day's work is dead. So you kind of just let me go, and I don't really need to reference anything anymore. So I'm here quite often. Yes.
There's also another aspect of this project that is of great interest to Salomon and me. It's the development of a professional learning community. Because we are collaborating with basic skills English and math teachers, we're actually forming a team. So in the same way that we're working to develop the student groups as cohorts so that there's mutual support and learning taking place between students, not just in a top-down sort of approach, we're expecting the same level of collaboration within the faculty. So developing a professional learning community is part of our key outcomes.
The unique thing about SASI is that it was actual working together. And so the idea of having those who got the grant, not just kind of going off and saying, oh, okay, we got a grant, now we're going to work on this, and so on and so forth, is to mirror that back to the rest of the faculty and staff and say, not just a report of here's what we did, here's the outcomes we achieved, but how can you help us make this better?